gonna swim, bike, and run. In the corner, sun, we're gonna swim, bike, and run. In the corner, sun, 2021.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody, to Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt, and we are brought to you by Challenge North America, Credo Tri, UCAN, Hoka One One, Velo Fix, Norma Tech, Canyon Bikes, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. 2 weeks ago, we sent out 3,038 grants, totaling $5.1 million to keep challenged athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, I don't know, only one of the greatest triathletes in history. 4-time Ironman World Champion and course record holder, 5-time 70.3 World Champion, 2-time Olympian, coming off of a course record at Ironman 70.3 Dubai. Daniela Ryf joins us. Daniela, how are you?
Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm good. Nice background, by the way. So makes me really into the Hawaiian mood.
Exactly. And we've been actually, we met there at Huggles on the Rocks in 2014, your first time there when we were doing our interview. So it's been, like 8 years we've been chatting. Yeah,
quite a lot happened in that 8 years. It's crazy. I feel like it went fast, but it's also, I'm quite, when I look back, it's been pretty cool 8 years, I have to say, I have to admit, yeah.
You think? So when I look back at 2018, when you had really the performance of your life, because you shattered the course record, you dealt with the jellyfish, all of that. And sometimes when you have a race like that it's so perfect. I remember when Chrissy Wellington had that race in 2011 after she had crashed and came back and won. That was it. She retired. Mark Allen back in 1995 came back at the age of 37 and ended up coming from way behind and winning that race, retired. When you win something like that in the way you did, is it hard to get motivated, to stay motivated when people expect you to do the impossible every time out?
2018 was really an impressive race for me. It was like, when I look back, I would say it's the race I thought, how can I ever gonna top that performance? Because it was just such a crazy race, and I don't think I could have. Yeah, for a while I really was thinking, like, how can I top this? And that's where it did get a bit hard, because when I had lots of good races. 2016 was really smooth and everything went perfect. But 2018 really flashed me mentally as well, because it was such a crazy race with the jellyfish and being back so far and then turn it around. So yeah, after, I had to prove myself quite a lot, that I came back after a World Champion title. And I think this was not really the problem, that I thought, I have now four World Champion titles. So I'm start to get lazy. But I felt it was hard for the motivation or more the expectation for myself. It was a bit hard because I didn't know how I'm ever gonna top this. And for me, of course, I always thought I need to get better and I need to make more exciting things. And I think that's where I had a bit of a wrong attitude, because sometimes you start to also forget a bit what it's about in racing. And it's also, of course, it's about showing amazing performances, but also to enjoy the race and go out there and really have fun, kind of how I did it in 2014, and just not care what happens. If you blow up, you blow up. And that's what I always liked racing the most. So I think that really was a bit of a process, and I had to go. In the last 2 years, I felt that was maybe the biggest challenge, to, find that new, find that new attitude, to realize, hey, it's not about always getting showing more crazy performances, but also to just enjoy what you do, because that's why you started it.
So the following year, 2019, and I talked to Brett Sutton a little after the race, and he said, I wouldn't have had Daniela race. She had stomach problems all week. She probably, in his opinion, he shouldn't have gone to the starting line. but you're one of those, like you found out the year before, you never know. You go to the starting line, maybe you can feel okay. And I'm guessing that even though you didn't win and you took 13th place, you're very proud of yourself just for the fact that you, on a day that you weren't feeling up to yourself. You weren't yourself, but you got the very best out of what you ever had that day.
The 2019 was for me not a disappointing race in terms of what happened on race day. Of course, I wanted to show much better. I was in really good shape and I had a really good preparation in Maui. So I was like, ready to show. But then, with the stomach flu, I think it's something you can't really change, but definitely was worth a try. I left it all out there, and now I know I cannot have any regrets because I know that's all I had in that day, and it was not as much. I mean, it was, I prepared much better than I could show, but that's racing. And I think when you lose like this, it's not, for me, that was never, it was never really disappointing. It was disappointing I couldn't show how fit I was. But it was not disappointing what I did on race day, because actually already in the finish, I was like, well, yeah, that's it. It's not I just did my best, but that was not enough, or not enough when you're sick. So I think it's much easier to deal with. I find it easier to deal with when you leave it out there and you have no regrets, because then you can't really blame yourself and you just give your best. And if you did that, then it's fine.
So I read one of your statements that, the pressure that you felt to always win, that took some of the joy out of your success. Was there almost relief sometimes when you won rather than joy, because everybody, including yourself, was expecting you to win?
I did actually. I mean, the last 1.5 years really helped me to deal with that, because there was no races. So actually, it was a lot happened in the last 12 months or 18 months. And with an absolutely crazy situation where suddenly there's no races. In the beginning, I was actually shocked how happy I was that there's no races. I was also injured at that time, so that was also a reason. But yeah. I was a bit relieved because I felt like I wanted to breathe a little bit more. And actually, this during the first lockdown, I was motivated than ever because I could just train because I loved it and not because I had to. And that's where I really realized how much I love doing triathlon, because it's really the process I enjoy. And sometimes the process to get to the races was more of like, putting too much pressure on myself. So I could not always enjoy it that much, where suddenly when I had more freedom because there was no races, I realized, oh, wow, now I even enjoy it more. So that really made me think a bit what's happening here. And made me realize I definitely always put a lot of pressure on myself, but it's also why I probably am where I am. I'm never really satisfied, or I struggle to be satisfied because I always want to, improve and get better. So it's that balance you have to find for yourself as well, where sometimes you have to like go a step back and say like, oh, wow, it's actually quite okay what I achieved. And during the pandemic, that was pretty much also a bit a forced step back and being grateful to actually what you can do. I was really injured quite badly with my ankle. And when suddenly, a doctor tells you, like some doctors said, I will never run again. And it was pretty tough news. They said I should make an operation, and I was not really sure because I was scared that it would be worse after. And so when you suddenly have like things like that happening, you start to think a bit different. And I think also that injury really woke me up a bit to say like, wow, I'm really, fortunate that I can do my sport as a profession and, like live it every day.
Well, and one of the issues is that what you do, you swim, bike, run, and you recover, you eat, you sleep, and that becomes repeat. And the rest of your life is sort of like on hold while you keep doing this. And then when there's a pandemic and there's no Ironman World Championship, did you struggle with that? The fact that, okay, maybe my life is just swim, bike, run, repeat, and there's no races coming up. Who am I right now?
Yeah, I definitely struggled with that. I mean, I do have amazing family and, sister and brother and friends who I can count on. So it's not like I'm in a really lonely position. But what I found out is like that I still, 100% of my focus goes into the sport. And, in the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't really realize it yet. I just, enjoy to be training at home a bit. But then I thought, after a few months, it's going to be over. And like everyone, we're going to get back to it in Kona. And then, I think the hardest part where I came through summer quite well. I really trained really well. I was really motivated. Probably did the most biking I've ever done because we had more time. We had no travel. I was just in St. Moritz. And then when Rapperswil got cancelled for September and Kona was definitely cancelled for February, then I suddenly was like, whoa, what's happening now? Because that means it's another 1.5 years to train to the next big goal. And there was where it really sunk in. And I was really not such in a good place in that time. It was like around September, August, September, where I really started to struggle because I suddenly saw there's no races, there's no goal. And then also my foot was at that time still not so great. And suddenly you're like, so what do you do? Like, why do you get up in the morning? And, that was actually really, really tough because, that's where I realized I don't have a family as like many other have like kids or so. And for me, kids was not really on the list yet at all. And I didn't even think on it yet. And I think there is where I woke up and I said, I need to change something. And that's where I actually decided within a week, I called my my older docent, the teacher from the old school.
Teacher,
And I said, I'm thinking to do a course. Can I, do like some neuroscience course or something? And she said, it won't happen, but why don't you do your bachelor and we can check, do your bachelor thesis.
Yes.
And I knew I had to also finish 2 models, which means I had to do controlling, accounting, and food chemistry, which is not the easiest topics.
No.
And so I was so desperate to actually do something. I then decided to finish my studies. So that really helped me to, get going because otherwise at that time, it felt quite empty. I didn't feel in a good place.
And did you end up having to have surgery on your foot, or were you able to get it back through therapy?
No, I then also around that time I think it was in September, I made the decision I won't do the surgery, even though that was a bit of a risk because if I then wait another year, it could mean that you have to do the surgery later. But I found a therapist who also works with skiers. He's really specialized in joints and also for knees, but also in the ankles. And I was visiting him. He used to treat Sarah Meyer, now Sarah van Berkel, the wife of Jan van Berkel, and she had also some problems in her career, and he could really help her. And so I went to see him it was actually, I already almost booked the surgery. And then I said, I'll give it one last try just to see that guy. And then if that's not, I'll give it 2 more weeks, I said. And if it's not working, then I'll do the operation. And I saw him and actually, he said, if you operate, you will never run again. So I had two people saying, you know, totally different options. So yeah, it was a bit hard because so what do you decide? It's kind of like you flip a coin and you're like, I might not run again. So that's not an easy decision.
That's
And
scary.
then I just thought, okay, I'll try to go the natural way, because I'm a fan of, you know, the body. I think our body is quite amazing, and I think I don't think we can fix everything on our own, but some things can actually come good again in our body because it's made to heal. So he was really amazing. He said, give me 6 weeks, it will be better. And
Wow.
it was not perfect yet after 6 weeks, but it was better. And that's where I decided then to not do the operation. And it's actually not just like the last few months, it's been become really good. I mean, in Dubai, I still could feel it actually, even though I run quite okay. But yeah, it's been a long process. It's been over a year it's been over a year where it happened, but it's been about 6 months therapy.
So you go back to school, you get your bachelor's in food technology, and now you're working on your EMBA in business psychology and neuropsychology. That's a hell of a challenge.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not that hard actually. It's really interesting, but it's only, you know, next to, like, it's for business people who also work. So it's maybe, I don't know, 15 hours a week, which is quite nice. I can use the time to just read a lot and get my head busy with other things than sports, because I do feel like, or I did realize, it's for me, having a balance next to the sport is really important. Most of my friends are not sport people at all. Right. And I really always enjoy it because it's just gives you a different perspective for life. And, you know, you can talk about different things, and like this, it's the same with the study. It's, you can, you know, sometimes just read and get your mind busy of, like how it works in the brain, and also like our behavior in consumption, but also just in general. I find it really interesting, you know, also the deep motivation. I mean, I've never really thought about it. I was just always driven, but to actually find the, you know, the molecules, and, or the, how do you say, not the molecules, the, you know, the ingredients, that what's happening in your body is really interesting. And yeah, it actually, I mean, the reason why I do it is actually a little bit sad. It was my dad had a bad accident like a year ago, and he had like a brain injury, and so he's not really he can't really properly think anymore. Right. And it was actually also quite a shocking moment, because it just shows you how fragile we are. You know, you have one fall and you can lose your whole skills to just talk and remember and you know, do just basic things like eating and walking. So yeah, I think our body and also the brain is really something now I started to be more interested. So I do that, and just to keep my mind busy, and also because I'm really interested.
I also read that you rediscovered love and also a bit of yourself. And a lot of people don't go public with things that are personal, but you are, and that's obviously very brave. Talk a little bit about, you know, coming to that decision that, okay, I have my personal life, but I think it's important to share because it will touch other people who are concerned about sharing things about themselves. Yeah,
I mean, I'm a person who always kept my private life quite private. Yes. And now being actually single is actually, I thought it was a good time to talk about it, because I always I try not to bring my personal, you know, close people too much in publicity, because publicity can also be hard, or, you know, can be harsh. And for me, I think it was a topic I wanted to talk about, because I do believe, I mean, I read a lot about psychology also through my studies. And I find, you know, with the labeling, it's kind of like I find it's really nice people who come out and say, you know, I find women attractive. I think it's really great. For me, it was also a little bit more the approach that it should not be necessary anymore in the actual time to say, you know, to be having to be brave to come out. So it should be just, you could be asked, do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? You know, that's kind of my approach. And I think in general, we are all quite focused on labels. We like to put the people into, you know, little boxes, and this person belongs there and this person there. And I mean, for me, I found it, fall in love with a woman, a while ago. And it was quite, you know, for me also surprising, but also really, really nice. And I think it's possible to fall in love with the person. And I think that's just something I enjoy sharing, because I hope to also, you know, motivate other people to just follow their feelings and not, it's not about coming out so much. It's more about just follow what you feel. And you know, I think it also has a lot to do with not being afraid. I think in general, we're often afraid to do something wrong. It can be in racing, can be in love, you know, we're just afraid to fail. And I think in general, if we can let go of being afraid to fail, we can achieve so much in all different parts in our lives.
Your line, I don't want to hide. I want to set an example and say, live and let live, love and let love. I mean, it is pretty simple. You don't really have to say, hey, I am gay, I am a lesbian, I am bisexual. It's, I'm Daniela Ryf, and I choose to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I couldn't even put myself in a box or in a label. No. I actually had to Google what it's called when you actually say you can fall in love with the person and not the gender. So it's called, what's it? I don't even know. It doesn't even matter, because it's just a label. You know, for me, I think it doesn't really matter. It's just important that everyone can follow their heart.
It's funny because I think we have such a wonderful community in triathlon. And I've always said that our sport is an equal opportunity abuser. It doesn't care if you're missing a leg or an arm, if you're big or if you're small. It's getting from point A to point B. And our age group athletes really love our pro athletes, because you didn't start out as a professional athlete. You started out as an age group person who found this sport that you love. So who you are outside the sport, it contributes to the whole package of Daniela Ryf. And I think that is important. Do you feel a little freer, the fact that you have been open?
To be honest, I mean, I find it's nice to have some feedback. I did enjoy some, but I mean, I've been open with with the people who are close to me always. And that was never even a problem. You know, it was just, you know, I just said what happened. And I find it, for in public and generally, I find it a little bit harder, because I also don't want to make a big topic about it, because that's what I mean. Like, it should not be a big topic. That's why I also never enjoy doing, you know, how do you say, you know, articles about, you know, puffed up love stories or whatever, you know. It's just the private stuff. I think is nice to keep it private. That's why it's called private. But in general, to talk about it openly, I think is nice. And also, I mean, to bring it to the topic in terms of that it should be not a topic. You know, that's something I thought is important, that we should not think so much in labels and just enjoy our lives, because it can be quite short.
And in terms of enjoying your life, you're building a new house?
Yes, a lot's happening.
That's my project. The year of change for you. It's great.
Sorry?
It's been the year of change for you.
Yeah, it happened. It changed a lot. Yeah, I know. I mean, I had to do something else than when I couldn't race. You know, I need to keep myself busy. So I did yeah, that was one thing actually I did realize. It has a little bit similarities why I actually talked about also the my feelings, because same with the house, like I'm now in an age where I get asked a lot, do you want to have kids or do you want to have a family? Yep. And to be honest, I don't know, I don't really care. I'm not having a family now, and it's the society thinking like when you're 33 you need to build a house and marry and have a kid, or maybe not so much in the triathlon society, but in general I have a lot of friends who do that, and I get asked it a lot. And I did think quite for a while I am looking for a flat, and then I found this project, and then I was like, well, should I really build a house for myself? It's a bit crazy. I don't know like how many kids I might have, or if I have no kids. So it's a little bit difficult to build a house. And then I was like, well, you know what? I don't care. Like I would like to build a house. So I build a house because, it's a great opportunity. And I then really start to think like, why should I wait till I'm married or till I have someone in my life? I want to, spend my, the rest or more. I never say anything is forever anyway, but maybe a part of your life together. So I decided I'm just gonna build a house, and like this I can have I have my full, how do you say, responsibility to choose whatever I want. So it's been amazing. A really cool project, and it's also quite challenging, to be honest. I was a little bit overwhelmed with all the different bathrooms and stuff. It's a lot to choose. You have to
lines and colors. Exactly.
And but I did it in one day. I didn't want to I just look at it and then to decide. So it was but I'm really looking forward to it. So it should be, if all goes well, it should be next year sometimes that it's finished.
Very fun. And so you're also going to coach yourself moving forward?
I did a bit of changes there as well. So I guess it's also quite some news, but also through the last year I did realize I do want to, or I would enjoy to have a bit of more freedom, but also give take more responsibility. Mm-hmm. And with Brett it's been 8 really amazing years. He's taught me so much, and I find that at the moment I'm a bit at the time of my life that I feel I want to try some things, and not actually changing the methods at all. I'm super convinced that what we did the last 8 years is working, and I actually believe in his methods totally. So I'll always try to somehow, get that going or keep that going, but to, also a bit for a challenge for myself to maybe find some more about myself, to actually have to listen to myself a bit more. I actually realized it's not easy, but it's always that, he's been that guidance for me, like saying when to push more and when to hold back. And it's always a fine line. And I did realize the last, few months when I trained, I often feel it, but you try to not listen to it. And so since I don't have him as a coach, I need to listen to it more. And it's quite interesting. And I at the moment, I really enjoy it. So I try to just find out some more things about, what I want to do. And also, like if I can put it together the way I believe I can put it together.
So next week we have 70.3 St. George, and I don't think you've raced there before.
No, first time, yeah.
First time, and that's also going to be the site of the 70.3 World Championship, so you'll get a chance to race on the course to hopefully get your 6th 70.3 World title. Before we get into that, just when you raced in Dubai and knowing that you were told you might not ever run again, what are just having a race like that and breaking the course record, and how special was that? Almost must have been a little emotional for you, knowing that your career was almost over.
Yeah, it was. I think it was my most, where I felt the most free ever in a race, especially in the run. Not so much on the swim, on the bike, but on the run, I did have to change a little bit my training already in the winter. Because if I run, for example, 3 times a day, it would get quite sore. So I would change it around and maybe do 2. And like this, I actually was quite surprised how fit I would get, because I run a lot on the treadmill. So and also being in the altitude, of course, that helped a lot. And then I was actually surprisingly confident that I would be in good shape for Dubai. And, it was the first race since a long time. But when I was on the bike, I was, searching. Well, I had power, but I just couldn't get that extra gear up to go even a bit faster. And when I started to run, I then started to, Imogen, she pushed me quite a bit in the start. I had to catch her because I had a really bad transition, and then we ran together, and I started to push it trying to drop her, and she really held on to not get dropped. And I think she helped me to run that fast in the end, because it was, I don't know exactly my time, but I won 16 high or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't count books in how fast I ran in all the half marathons, but it was definitely one of my faster runs. And when I ran out there, also with the new shoe, the prototype from Asics, the bouncy one, and then I felt so good. It was really nice. I just in general, to, after such a year, to be out there and I could feel it so much. That's what I really enjoy. Like when you have lows with injuries, I you sometimes think, you could also just go another way now. It would be also fine. But when I was running there in Dubai, I was like, no, that's what I like to do. That's what I'm born to do. It's like the thing I can do best is racing. And that felt really good. Also the people were cheering quite a bit, and just to be able to show a good performance and strong performance after such a year felt really good.
So St. George next week, and when there's like 40 women, I think 35 to 40 pro women who are racing, Holly Lawrence, and you've got an amazing pro field there. Then I think will you stay in the country, in the US, and through Tulsa?
Yeah.
Through Ironman?
We will go to Sedona. We do a little US trip. Yeah.
Where will you go?
Sedona.
Oh, Sedona.
To check out some nice trails. We thought about it for a while, and I just thought it's a good opportunity to discover a new place. I'm looking really forward to it.
That's fun. And so then after, you've also got Collins Cup, right? That's in August. Then 70.3 Worlds, and by winning Dubai, that's the first of the Triple Crown, right? That's another potential $1 million if you win St. George and Bahrain.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. I didn't even know that it was on the Triple Crown. It was not the reason why I went to Dubai at all. And then when I saw it the day before the race, I saw I looked at my start number, and I saw the Triple Crowns on it. So I was like, wait, is that still the Triple Crown? I didn't know. And of course, we'll see what happens. But it's a long way to go. The World Champion title is not an easy one to get. So let's go step by step. A lot can happen until then. We don't know if the world is still here until then.
You just seem like you're in such a good place right now. You just seem so happy and content. Nobody wants to go through what you went through this last year and a half, but it seems like you've come out the other side as a different Daniela Ryf. Are you as content as you look?
Yeah, well, I always had doubts. I had doubts all the time in my life, but at the moment, no, I feel really in peace with myself and also quite happy. I mean, it's been a horrible 1.5 years, I think, but I don't really want to complain because I think everyone had really a tough year, and I mean, I can't complain because, I'm still in a very fortunate place, and but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really, like, if you have challenging times, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's always, for the person, it's hard. And I think for me, what I'm proud of and also happy about is that I could come out of really another good place, in terms of mentally. I was really not happy for a while, and I realized I need to change something. And then I was like, well, I kind of knew what to do, but I didn't want to do it because I felt scared. And yeah, so it does feel good to sometimes also, let go of some things or not be afraid too much. And that's definitely a really good feeling, and, a bit of feeling of freedom as well. And at the moment I'm enjoying myself, and I really enjoy training. And so I'm definitely looking forward to some races now. It's amazing that we can come to the US, and these next 2 races seem to happen. So that's really exciting news. Yeah.
I love it. Daniela, as always, thank you for taking so much time and chatting. I always enjoy when we get together. The first time we chatted, we were right next to Lee Drive, and you're like, is this where the run goes? This is like a couple days before the Ironman. That was your first time there, and then you get second that first one, and then win the next 4. And it's just watching your career and watching you grow into this amazing woman is really, really special. Thank you for letting us be part of the journey. It's always an honor to get to speak with you.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for having me, and thanks for supporting, and I'm showing me Ali Drive a few days before the race in 2:14.
Daniela Ryf has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. Thank you, Daniela. Have a great time at St. George. And how much time will you spend in the States? Will you be here for
almost 4 weeks in total?
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Full month. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Daniela Ryf has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye.